The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody. Good crack-a-noon to our friends on the East Coast. I'm Todd Obert, President and CEO of Productive Corporation, joined here alongside me virtually, but emotionally simpatico, Raymond Neff, Senior Engineer at ESET. We're going to talk about utilizing MDR and EDR. He's going to show us featuring ESET's products in that area, which are pretty cool. And so we're glad you joined us today. That's what I say. Thank you. So if you've been to our events, you know how we do it. We meet productive in 1 minute, and then we get straight down to business. We're going to talk about utilizing EDR for threat hunting, automating and setting alerts, talking about what an MDR solution actually tells us, as well as giving you some thoughts on how to better secure remote users. As always, utilize the chat feature, and we'll get your questions answered along the way. But for now, buckle up. Let's meet Productive. Who is Productive Corporation, you say? Well, I'm very glad you asked, even though you're muted. Productive Corporation provides security solutions for mid-size companies. We have specialized expertise to answer technical licensing questions. We also implement, test, and optimize everything we do. We do third-party security assessments. We can help you with AD security services. We can do configuration assistance and help that UTM get implemented in an optimal way. We also produce third-party content that you'll see here, as well as on productivecorp.com/solving security. The bottom line is we got a lot of ways to help you, whether that's implementation, assessment, licensing, optimization services, or education. Help at productivecorp.com. If you still have a rotary phone, call us 612-375-0204. As you know, since you joined here today, we are going to be talking about how to best utilize EDR and MDR. The man with the plan that's going to talk about that is Mr. Raymond Neff. He is a senior engineer at ESET, and I think I'm looking forward to what he has to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm virtual round of applause for Raymond Neff. Raymond, you have the screen share. You just need to decide which screen to share with us.
Thank you very much. Hold on 1 second, and let me see if I only have 15 screens open here. Let me make sure I get the right one going. Okay, let me know if you guys can see my screen.
I got the cybersecurity experts on your side.
Okay, thank you, everybody. My name is Raymond Neff. I'm an ESET sales engineer. I've been with the company a little over 6 years and been in this industry a while, and we're going to talk about our XDR solution, okay? So a little bit about our company. Hang on a second. Let's get us going. Of course, ESET, we've been in business for over 3 decades. So we have 30 years of complete independence and innovation. So we're one of the very few privately held global IT security companies. We started with two programmers back in the beginning, over 3 decades ago, and they're the same people that still own the company today. So it's actually owned by cybersecurity experts, the architects of our original award-winning software, which some of you guys probably have heard of, that was named NOD 32, okay? So ESET, we have over a billion users, internet users, that are protected by our technology. We're in over 400,000 plus business customers are using us. We're in 200 plus countries and territories, and we have 13 global R&D centers. The thing about ESET, it's not a well-known, big-known name as far as in the U.S., but we are the #1 in cybersecurity provider and several other countries. And we take pride that over 1/3 of our employees are in our research and our development. So that's the core of ESET, is our technology. So we're going to talk about the Enterprise Inspector. This is our our XDR, which is highly customizable endpoint detection and response. So clearly data breaches can be very costly and we can see a few statistics associated with the cost of cybercrime taken from Verizon's data breach report in 2021. As you can see, the average cost of a data breach has increased by 12% over the past 5 years, and the global average cost of a data breach has increased to 3.5 million. So the data breach costs are the highest in the United States, where the average ransomware incident costs 8.1 million and requires approximately 287 days to recover. So you can see that this ransomware, and we all know that this is a very lucrative business, so it's not going to stop, right? So our ESET's managed detection and response, what do we get in this, right? Into this solution. So the included components in it is, of course, you get a management console to manage all your endpoints. You get our endpoint protection. You get our server security protection. It also comes with our full disk encryption. And all of this can be controlled from a single pane of glass with our management console. We also have our advanced threat defense, which is our cloud sandboxing, where we sandbox any unknown files in the cloud so that they're not executed on your network. We also have our extended detection and response, which is our ESET Inspect, that's gathering all that data. And then it comes with 2 services, which is our MDR service with an SLA where we monitor your environment and do threat hunting for you and actually manage that service for you along with our premium support. Okay, that's included.
Raymond, you guys remediate on that service, or is it just you notify the end user?
We actually help them with the remediation and the incident response.
All right.
Yes. Yes. So we pretty much handle it. I mean, help with everything, of course. So we're going to be in there monitoring it, monitoring any detections that are triggered in that inspect console, and then helping them to take action if needed, right? So why ESET? As you can see, with our research and development, that we have out there, we back our products, right? ESET has the best-in-class multi-layered protection. The ESET's XDR product works out of the box for easy integration and allows flexibility for most experienced users. So ESET gives the transparency across many layers, as you can see, including email, network attack protection, phishing, servers. So there's a lot of transparency that you can see on the information that we're collecting off the endpoints. So you can see that ESET's tried and tested. Since the 1990s, we've consistently performed. So we participate in all third-party testing. We're not trying to hide anything. So as you can see across the different companies that are doing the testing, you can see where ESET stands, right? We're in the champion section, in the leadership matrix, the Forrester wave, and also Radicati market quadrant. ESET also tops the comprehensive endpoint prevention and response cyber risk quadrant by AB comparatives. Okay, so what are the features in our detection and response? Of course, we have a public API, so ESET Inspect features that enables accessing and exporting of detections and the remediations to allow effective integration with tools such as a SIM or a SOAR, ticketing tools, and many others. It also has one-click isolation and remediation, so you can define network access policies to quickly stop lateral movement by malware. You can isolate a compromised device from the network with just one click in the inspect interface. And it's also easily removes devices from the containment state. We also use the MITRE attack. So ESET Inspector references its detections to the MITRE attack adversarial techniques, and common knowledge framework, which is one click, provides you with comprehensive information even about the most complex threats. Okay, anomaly and behavior detection. So we check actions carried out by executable and utilize ESET's live grid reputation system to quickly assess if executed processes are safe or suspicious. Monitoring anomalous user-related incidents is possible due to specific rules written to be triggered by behavior, not simply malware or signature detections. So grouping of these computers by user or department allows security teams to identify if the user is entitled to perform a specific action or not. Okay. We also have multiple indicators of compromise, so we can view and block modules based on over 30 different indicators, including hash, registry modifications, file modifications, and network modifications. Our XDR comes packed with easily accessible one-click response actions, such as rebooting and shutting down an endpoint, isolating the endpoints from the rest of the network, running an on-demand scan, killing any running processes, blocking any application based off its hash value. Additionally, thanks to ESET's Inspect Live response options called Terminal, security professionals can benefit from the full suite of investigation and remediation options in the PowerShell directly from our Inspect console. Okay, we also do multi-platform coverage, so we support the Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. We can gather all the data happening across all three of those platforms. As far as threat hunting, we have a powerful query-based indicator of compromise search and apply filters to raw data for sorting based on file popularity, reputation, digital signature, behavior, or contextual information. So setting up multiple filters allows automated, easy threat hunting and incident response, including the ability to detect and stop any persistent threats and targeted attacks. We also have the open architecture. So ESET Inspect provides that unique behavior and reputation-based detection that's fully transparent to your team. All rules are easy editable via XML to allow fine-tuning or easily created to match the needs of specific enterprise environments, including SIEM integrations. We have company policy violation detections where you can block malicious modules from being executed on any computer in your organization. It's ESET Inspect's open architecture offers the flexibility to detect violations of policies that apply to the use of specific software like torrent applications, cloud storage, browsing, or any other unwanted software. ESET also has a sophisticated scoring mechanism where all rules and all detections are based off of a scoring system. And the local data collection is it's a comprehensive data about newly executed modules, including time of execution, the users who executed it, dwell time, and the device attacked. All data is stored locally to prevent sensitive data leakage. And of course, finally, you can do root cause analysis, and you get access to the full process tree of any kind of potentially malicious chain of events. Okay.
Raymond?
Couple
things. One, I'm sure you're probably going to get into show us some reports and some different things we can do with, the XDR. But what's the kind of expectation of the technical level of the customer to be able to utilize this product? Or can you guys, somebody just buy it completely as a service and you run the whole thing?
The MDR service is where we handle everything for the customer. But if there is a customer that does not need that level of service, which would be the MDR, we're managing everything. Yeah. They have that option. So out of the box, it's I mean, you're able it's for any level, right?
So
Uh,
MDR is, you guys are fully managing. XDR, they might need, I mean, do they need to be in an InfoSec level tech, or can they have a sysadmin run it for them, or what's the range where they're going to get their value out of it?
with our MDR solution, which is our managed detection and response, we're
Yep.
handling everything. We're monitoring it daily. There's really no expertise needed for the customer at all.
Uh-huh.
This is easily set up in the cloud.
Yep.
So it's just one click, it's set up basically, and then we help with the deployment, we help with the optimization, we help write rules. We train the user on it. We handle the monitoring daily, and then help with any incident response or any remediation in the event of something that is malicious on the network.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, but then you guys also have an XDR product, correct?
Yes. So the MDR just means we manage it. XDR just means that the customer manages it.
Yeah, and they need to be
And
able to have the time to even go investigate the threats, correct?
correct. So really our endpoint detection is detecting, doing all the machine learning, the artificial intelligence, all of those things in the detection, and then we're gathering all the data, for threat hunting or indicators of compromise or anything that may be happening on the network that could possibly be malicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I'm gonna get into a few of those things here next.
Sure.
So the uses of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course, why do I need this, right? You can actually use it for threat hunting and blocking. So if you do have like an early warning system where you're getting data from a SOC team and you want to go in and block hashes, you're able to do that with this product. Of course, detect and respond to any persistent threats. It's easy to contain them and stop them immediately across your network and see where they've spread to. So you can contain or remediate data breaches, like we discussed, stop company policy violations, detect and respond to any kind of indicator of compromise or any anomaly in behavior detection. Of course, root cause analysis, and it is an added layer of ransomware detection prevention. Okay, because a lot of people get ransomware, something drops on their network, somebody gets access to their network and they're doing things that doesn't necessarily look malicious to an endpoint detection because they're running basic Windows commands. Well, with this Enterprise Inspector, we're going to see those things happening. And we have rules in place for any kind of ransomware behavior happening on your network. It's going to detect it and it's going to notify you. Okay, so once you get notified, you're able to go in to the Inspect console and very quickly see what's happening on your network and remediate it immediately. Okay. So what does ESET Inspector do? Of course, our endpoint has been doing what the next gen vendors are shouting about for many years, right? It does not just compare samples against signatures or hash values. It monitors all manner of system level activities in real time using advanced technology such as machine learning, behavioral detection. Without Enterprise Inspector, ESET Endpoint monitors only what is needed to make a decision, then discards that information, right? So our endpoint's doing the detections, and without the inspector piece, which is our XDR piece, it's not gathering that data, right? So with the Enterprise Inspector, the endpoint monitors a far wider range of local activities, reporting back to the inspector platform, which continuously analyzes the endpoint data to detect potential cybersecurity threats and security issues. Okay, so upon detection, Enterprise Inspector alerts the system administrator and prompts for corrective action. Unlike ESET Endpoint, Enterprise Inspector keeps the historical data to allow proper analysis of activities leading up to any kind of security alert. So what local activities are monitored? These are just a few. We're monitoring all PowerShell use. You can see every PowerShell command ran across your network. WMI use, of course, communication with external servers, DNS requests, brute force, and pass the hash attacks. So we're collecting data on everything happening across that network, and you're able to investigate it easily. So how are these activities analyzed, right? So our Enterprise Inspector has almost 1,000 rules that our research and our malware team has came up with off of the MITRE attack techniques, right? So we create these rules for, you know, things that malicious actors do. In order for these rules to get triggered, we're collecting all that data, right? So it ships with hundreds of these default rules. So the rules can be created or edited to suit the customer's environment. These rules easily, with a single click, you can add an action on those rules. So if a rule gets triggered, for example, a file gets created in a user's document folder with a unknown attachment, you could immediately, if that rule gets triggered, you can do an action to go ahead, kill that process and block it, right? So if that rule gets triggered, it'll immediately take that action, or even isolate the computer from the network. So the rules are used to find known indicators of compromise, and they also trigger alerts within the Protect console. And with the scoring that we have, you can create alerts on different scores. For example, for a malicious rule getting triggered or a threat rule, you could set an alert to alert you on any rule trigger with a score of 70 or higher. So you are able to set those notifications and run reports on everything that you need. And then, of course, the historic activity logs allow the administrator to perform any kind of threat hunting. Okay. So this is an example of the Enterprise Inspector.
Raymond, quick. I had a
Yes.
question about if the platform was agent-based, which I believe, right, there's an agent, but is it in the ESET, the endpoint product, or is there a separate agent, or how does that work?
The way this works with a management agent is, as far as the endpoint solution sending data back to the Protect console, there's a management agent for the endpoint. And there's also an EEI agent that's sending that other information that the endpoint's collecting to the Inspect console. So there's basically two agents that run on the machine. They don't use hardly any resources. So it's not going to impact the user whatsoever. I mean, the footprint of this whole solution is super small, and the resources that it uses won't even be noticed.
Yeah, so it's kind of a follow-up to that. So is that agent, I mean, so like say somebody's, there is kind of rogue activity. Are they can they see that agent and have the ability to mess with it, or how do you prevent that? Because, right, that's...
Yeah, it's all protected. It's protected through our endpoint, all the services, so no services can be, stopped on an endpoint. Once it's running, you can password protect it. So even if an admin's on that system, they can't uninstall that agent.
Okay.
So everything can be password protected, where they would need a password to even, take it off the system where it's not collecting that data. Another thing is if that machine, for instance, can't reach, that agent can't reach to report that data, it's all stored locally. So as soon as it can connect, it's going to upload all that data to the console. So even if it loses connection, it's not going to lose the data it's collecting. Okay.
All right, thank you.
So this would be an example of investigating a ransomware attack type scenario. So you can see how it all started with the user login, right? and then the user initialization, and then they open Outlook, and then opening a Word attachment from the email. So you can see the transparency and the detail of everything you can see going on. So we see that Word triggered a command line execution of PowerShell, which then opened a network connection and spawned a system-like process, right? And then you can see where it started to encrypt files, which triggered the detection of ransomware-like behavior, okay? So you see at the top up here, this is a file coder behavior. So this would be one of the rules. It tells you the recommended actions directly from the screen. So you get a lot of information on this. So you can see that granular explanation, the metadata, the information about the computer and all the relevant things needed. And on the footer, you see the one-click actions down here at the bottom where you can kill that process directly from here on that machine, and then you are able to block it also, okay? And that's all I have.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, lots of good stuff there. Really appreciate that. That's a pretty cool solution. You know, as Raymond said, ESET's been in this business for a long, long time, and so not only have they released a lot of good products over the years, but they have a lot of history and data and know what's happening in these systems. So you know, that's pretty cool. This is the next extension of that. So pretty excited to see that. And to everybody else, thanks for your time. It is very valuable, and I know that you choosing to spend it with us, it's very much appreciated. So I'm Todd Obert from Productive, along with Raymond Neff of ESET, wishing you a fantastic balance of your day and week, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Thanks, everybody.